Hey, happy Monday, everyone. So we are going on to a new unit in math, and our unit in math deals with geometry. So if you like shapes and you find that that's an easier thing for you to deal with in math, then you're probably a visual learner. It's a little bit different than the last couple of units we've done on multiplication and division because those are really dealing with numbers and computations, calculations. And this unit, we're not really looking as much at that. So we're going to be looking at shapes. And for the first week, we're going to be looking at different types of shapes, what they're called, and how we can tell them apart. So, first of all, I want you to consider how many shapes there are everywhere around us. Even if you're sitting here in your room looking at your computer screen, your phone, or watching this video, just your computer alone has a whole bunch of shapes on it. Your screen is rectangular, your keys are square, like there's all sorts of shapes all over the place. In the room, you're probably seeing rectangles and squares and maybe some circles or triangles all over the place. And the very structure of your house is, in fact, made of triangles. So I was walking around the neighborhood and I was looking at some old houses. This is not an old house near my neighborhood, but this is just an old house I found online. But there are lots of old houses in my neighborhood, and there's a lot of really neat shapes in old houses. So I like looking at old houses. And if you look at this old house, there is so much geometry in this picture. It's crazy. Even the symmetry on the porch, the fact that this side of the porch is very similar to this side of the porch, it's got a lot of geometry. And I took the picture and I just put some geometric shapes over top of the picture, just a few of them, and there's some I missed, but you can see the squares, the rectangles, triangles. We have a roof that's the shape of a parallelogram here. We have a roof over here that's the shape of a trapezoid. Triangle up here. This one is a dome, which is sort of a semicircle, but it's sort of half an oval. So there's shapes all around us. And part of the probably the reason we have shapes all over the place is that shapes do a number of things for us. Geometric shapes, and when we can build things, especially, geometric shapes provide strength. So triangles are one of the strongest units of construction that you're going to find. And so if you, for example, look in the attic of your house, or even if you go by a building and watch it being built and can see its basic construction, there's a lot of triangles in there and they provide structural strength for the building. Now, you also see a lot of squares and rectangles and perhaps triangles or trapezoids or parallelograms, and they provide a sense of beauty. There's something about the symmetry, and I don't know if you've heard the word symmetry before, but symmetry means that part of the shape is the same on both sides. So it's basically a copy of the shape on either side. And if I was to chop this triangle shape down the middle on this house, it would look exactly the same. And for our eyes, that provides a lot of beauty. If you look at this house, even the way they've done the garden is symmetrical. Three bushes, little planter. Everything is symmetrical. Two hanging plants. And for our sense of art, symmetry is very important. And we see a lot of symmetry in design and in geometry. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the different types of shapes. How do we, when we see shapes, how can we describe and compare them, right? So if you look at this screen, there are certain shapes here that have obvious things in common. And you might, think about this and go, well, this one is a triangle, has three sides. This one has three sides, right? So that's an obvious one. This one has four, this one has four, this one has four. Those are obvious comparisons. This one has one, two, three, four, five, and this one's got five. So there's sides that are the same. But we can also look at, for example, this square has four equal sides and their opposite sides are parallel. That means they run exactly the same distance away from each other. Well, this shape also has parallel sides, but this side is equal to this side. So it's a little different from the square. It's got two equal sides here and two parallel sides, but these two sides are not equal. Well, this triangle is an isosceles triangle. It's called this side is the same length as this side. So it has two equal sides. And same with this parallelogram. That side is equal to that side. That side is equal to that side. So these are all different ways that we can compare these shapes. This shape down here sticks out a little bit, and probably you thought that, because it doesn't have an obvious um, design that we're used to seeing, right? It doesn't have the triangle. It's not a square. It's not a parallelogram or a trapezoid or a pentagon. It's just this weird shape, right, that I stuck in there, and that one sticks out a bit. So what we're going to be doing today is I want you to take a look at this slide. I'm going to put this online for you to do at home, but I've got a whole bunch of different shapes here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different shapes here. What I want you to do is group them using this Venn diagram based on shapes that have more than 4 sides over here and shapes that have some sides which are equal. In other words, the shape itself has sides that are equal. All right, so take a look at that online, and that will be sort of our intro lesson for geometry. Thanks.